Okay. Let's bring out, who we got here? Okay. Let's bring out Mike Martinez, right? Yeah, he's here. Harold Blank is here. Grant Kramer. And of course, Suzanne Snyder. I wanted to see Procopio. I write for Third Coast Review. I'm just a Chicago film critic, but I've been hosting this thing for as long as it's been going on. Just a couple of years ago, I was at an event at the Music Box Theater downtown called Cinepocalypse, and we played this movie, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, with the two filmmakers who are brothers who I guess don't really talk that much anymore, but somehow we found a way to wrangle them and bring them together, and it was an amazing screening. And the one thing I want to ask you guys is what I noticed about the crowd, and just about the movie in general, is it seems to get more popular the further away from the release date that we get. I feel like it's a new generation. There are a lot of, my point about that screening is there are a lot of young people there, a lot of families there, because it is, it's PG-13, so it's not like excessively violent or anything. It's just, as the title infers, it's creepy. But I'm wondering, have you found that to be the case? Do you have any explanation how that has happened? And has anyone even posited a theory about why that might have happened?
Well, I mean, I think first of all, if there's ever really a movie that kind of defines what a cult movie is, it would probably be Killer Clowns from Outer Space. The Kyoto's brothers, they always call the kills in Killer Clowns, they call them candy-coated kills, which I think it makes it, it's almost like the first kind of scary movie that a parent will usually allow their, or one of them, their kids to see, because they feel like, well, it's, people are getting killed, but they're not really getting, there's no blood or anything in the movie that I can think of. Maybe a little bit on the knock your block off or something, but not too much, So, and it's, at the end of the day, it's original, right? It's very unique and original.
I think also the colors are so bright and happy that it's kind of a little bit more confusing. Like, wait, it's scary, but oh no, it's not scary because it's pink and blue and green and yellow. So I think you're right. It's a more appropriate film. Personally, I think you should have all your children see it. It's just more appropriate, I think, to show kids. So it can be something that multi-generations can watch together, which is kind of cool.
And you get to decide whether you're going to love clowns your whole life or be absolutely terrified of them.
It was one of those first movies that really did sort of set the standard for creepy clown movies in general. I do think like an entire generation or multiple generations of people became nervous of clowns because of it. But what was the first indication, and I'll ask our clowns here, our first indication of, you mentioned this is like the true definition of a cult film. When did you sort of get that sense that, oh wait, people are turning on to this, people are responding to this in a way that maybe they aren't some horror things of that time?
Well, the first indication for me is when I started getting asked to come to these and sign photos. This is something we did in 1987, and I've been in the business for 40 some odd years. I am a stunt guy, that's how I got involved with Killer Clowns. And the one thing that happens is people, maybe they find out I'm a stunt guy, I haven't done any movies, and I usually go blanks, you kind of hit the heavy ones, Willow, NHL's Last Crusade, things like that. As soon as I get to Killer Clowns, that's when they freak out. They're like, I love it. I've done a lot of films over the 40 years, and that's still the one that gets the biggest reaction from people.
I would say I knew it was something the very first time I put on the costume, and I looked at it and I marveled at it, and just the sheer creativity and the execution of Charlie's vision in making the outfits and the clowns, I just thought it was fantastic. I really think that that's where this movie stands out, is in the creativity and the execution of all the different elements of it on a very low budget too. So you know, you have to be even more creative to get that, to achieve that on a low budget. And I think those guys are so impressive. I'm speechless, but I just wish we could have done a sequel, you know, because there's so many cool ideas for
It
that.
keeps getting brought up, this sequel idea, and I don't know if that's even a thing anymore. But people, even with the screening a couple of years ago, they brought it up again. Have you heard anything? Like,
It's ongoing. It's really kind of a rights issue at this point. There's been several, I think, different versions. One that I was involved in kind of creating with the Kyotos, that we were very, I think, close to getting off the ground a few years ago, but then we lost the rights because of just a total blunder on somebody on our team, and now the rights, you know, now MGM's being bought by Amazon, so there'll be a whole new group of people to deal with. So it's an ongoing effort, and then I think the Kyoto brothers felt like they might have had something going because they were doing a series at Netflix, and they got them interested, but now I doubt if Amazon's going to want to let their major competitor do something, you know. So it's an ongoing, we're not going to give up.
okay.
We're going to keep on until we.
I think someone alluded to it before. The film really is just a great series of these sort of set pieces around these murders. And like, I literally just last night was watching the shadow puppet scene on a loop because I think that's such a genius scene. And actually, at the screening we did, somebody created something to sort of help introduce the film, created a shadow. That's something very similar to it for the theater. But I'm wondering if you have, any of you have a specific moment, whether it's a kill or just a moment that you like the best.
Well, my favorite scene was the one I was in. And it was where they kind of started the idea of the film, and it was when the clown floats up next to the car and starts smashing into it. And even though that was difficult to shoot, both realistically, and then things happened to the film that they had to change things a little bit, because initially that was going to be the very beginning of the movie. But I don't know, I guess I'm prejudiced just because it was a fun scene to shoot also. So.
You know, I always tell people, you know, it's kind of near the last part of the movie, and I was just kind of looking forward to this scene because we had, you know, the fun scene where, basically my favorite line from the movie was from an extra that we found. I just thought he was so brilliant playing the guard. It says, "What are you gonna do with those pies?" I just thought, you know, you couldn't get any experienced actor to deliver that line any more perfectly. And then the other fun part about it is that, you know, it was really all of the people, all of the cast members and crew members. We were all the ones that actually stood behind the camera with a pie in our hand, and we all got to throw pies. That was fun.
That was fun. I actually got hit by a pie at the end, and I thought, oh, this will be fun because he did it so well. It hurts. And if they don't hit you right, you get hit a second time. So I think I had a couple of fun memories. The balloon hallway was really just fun because they put so many balloons in.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah, and I kept on getting lost. I kept on falling and getting lost, so they had to help me get through it, and we just had to do it a lot. We were just laughing really
I mean, who doesn't like that? You never stop being a kid, right? So you still, when you see like a hallway with balloons in it, even though it's an acting scene you're going to run through, you still kind of have that same feeling like you're a kid. I get to go run through the balloons in the bouncing ball room. It's always fun.
Go ahead, yeah.
I like those ensemble scenes where you have like 7 clowns and we all be performing together. But the one that was weird for me is when they wanted me to suck the blood out of the cocoon. And I'm actually, you know, doing this,
So much of that family vibe. Anyway, that's fine. I was going to say, I haven't really seen any this year, but I'm guessing because those clowns, and each clown looks so unique and so iconic, I'm guessing over the years you have seen hundreds, maybe thousands of tattoos. Because I certainly have, and in like some unexpected places and venues and body parts. But anyway, I was wondering, like, if you have to have seen these. Like, what are some of you remember? Do you remember, especially ones that you two like actually see ones of yourself? Maybe. Tell me about that experience. Is that strange?
Yeah, I mean, every time we do one of these conventions, you always see people walking around. They come up, and the first thing they do is they show you their tattoo.
We hope it's there.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of times it's on a calf or whatever, but they're excited to show you that. You know, one person was going to try and take my signature and put it on under the slim shirt that they had.
There's actually people in this audience that have tattoos. How many people have a tattoo from the movie? All right.
I want to make sure you guys get a chance. Anybody have any questions? Yeah, over there.
What was working with John Vernon like?
It was a kick. I mean, I think most of us were already fans of him from, things like playing Dean Wermerser in Animal House and Outlaw Josie Wales and some of his things, so it's always, it's always a lot of fun when you get to work with kind of an iconic guy like that, and he, this was near the end of his career, but he was every bit John Vernon with that great voice and that larger-than-life personality, and he was really a fantastic, classically trained actor as well. So I think Suzanne and I, we just had a kick working with him. It was a real treat.
Yeah, I was really in awe of him, all of the work that he'd done, because I was fairly new in my career. Excuse me. And I just remember walking onto the set and he was already there, and everything just felt different. So he was so grounded in his character and what he wanted to do, kind of helped the director, kind of helped all of us. It was very different and it was very special. He's a really nice man too, so it was fun to kind of learn from him too and collaborate with him.
And of course, it kind of, it makes you be on your game. When you're working with an actor, it's that experience that that you've got to be ready. You've got to know your lines. You've got to know what you're doing because he wasn't really the kind of guy that suffered fools very well either. They expected you to be as prepared as he was. So that is always nice too. You have to step up.
Anyone else?